Yay. And I will spotlight myself. Fun. Okay. So 2 blocks and a blanket if you don't have them already. And blocks can be anything from like a water bottle to a foam roller, just anything that's like a foot-ish off the ground that you can like put your hands on to like help you bring the ground closer to you. And then you can click the playlist play at any point. And then we're gonna get started. So if you are blockless, you can wait a second, but if you have like 1 or 2 blocks so that you can kind of make like a wall in the middle of your mat, do it. You can like stick them together. I know Lawrence has blocks because he bought them this week. So after that, you're gonna put your 2 blocks together like that, and then place your blanket on top of it just so it's soft and it like doesn't hurt you. Then you're gonna bring yourself to a tabletop over your block thing, and then place your hips on the thing, and then lower yourself down to the ground. Let me just give the setup for our blockless people. If you don't have a block, find your blanket or towel thing, and then roll it up, and then pretend the blocks don't exist, and do the same exact thing. Just find like your upper hips, low belly on the blanket. It'll do the same thing of just adding a bit of pressure to your low belly. And then with your arms, you can either make a palm pillow with your hands and place your forehead on it. They can come to like a cactus goalpost shape, and you can place one cheek to the side, and I'll let you know when to switch. Or if something else feels good in your body, you can do that. I'm just gonna go with the palm pillow thing. And as you lie here, just let your body and everything come into this space. Really try to melt yourself down. Let everything relax. Let your butt unclench. Relax your toes. Hi, Emily. I'm putting the playlist in the chat for you. And we're lying on our bellies. Cool. So keep breathing, find your breath, begin to make it a little bit audible so that you can hear it, or if someone's next to you, they can hear it. And we like doing this one, this helps our digestion a bit, but it's nice to put a little bit of pressure on something to then enclose it a little bit so that when you release it, there's more room for space and energy to flow in that part of your body. And as we're all here today, we are here on a day of remembrance. And we like to think of remembrance as our memories. And when we think of our memories, we think of that in our bodies as like the back of our bodies. So the past, things that have happened behind us, they're already happening, they're not in our future. So we'll get a little bit into like forward folds, which are a little bit more of like going inward and then remembering the past. And then we'll start beginning to open things up to then move forward into the future, our potential, and then be able to make some change. So take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Really let something unclench that's still clenching, whether that's your shoulders or your jaw. And if you haven't switched your face, I know I told you I said I would, but I guess I lied. Switch it to the other cheek being down. And after you've taken your second breath, wherever you are, find your hands back underneath your shoulders and press yourself back to a child's pose. So your elbows should land on your block, blanket thing, your wall in the middle of your mat, or your forearms. It doesn't really matter. And then you can just let your head hang in between your arms and just let it release. Take a few sighs. Try to push your hips back a little bit more. Take 1 more breath. And then press down into the palms of your hands again and come up back into that tabletop, just like how we started when we were rolling ourselves down. Find your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, the tops of the feet pressing down. And as you inhale, begin to arch your spine into cow pose, and then round your spine as you exhale into cat. So just beginning to lubricate the spine, shoulders are down, inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Take it as slow or as fast as you want to. Just listen to your breath, try to focus on it and have it be the impetus for all of your movement today. Pressing the tops of the feet down to also give you more leverage to move the upper body. Starting from the bottom down to build ourselves up. So we find the foundation and the strength in our legs. And then we can move up into the upper body to be able to do things around there too. Take a few more. Don't change your pace for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then find yourself in neutral. And then we're going to do one of my favorite things, which is flipping our hands around 180 degrees. So now your fingers are facing your knees. And if this feels like I can't do this, you can just have your fingers come out 90 degrees and face either right or left. Most importantly, have a slight bend in your elbows wherever you are so you aren't locking them out. And then take circles to the right with your hips or just your shoulders. It can be as small or as little as you want. Notice where you're looking. Try to have your gaze soft, relaxing all parts of the face. Gaze is down and out in front of you. Still pressing down with the tops of the feet. And this really helps us open up this part of the wrist that we use to type and text a lot. So it probably feels like a lot, and take circles to the left. Keep bending those elbows and imagine that you're pulling them away from one another. Wherever your fingers are facing, still trying to pull them away will give you more space for your chest to move forward, more space for your lungs, and then we can breathe better. Take a few more circles to the left. See if you can go bigger or smaller, just trying something different. And then come back to neutral after your next one. Flip the hands around for a second, have them face the normal way and let that settle. Thank you, Siri, for interrupting. And then lean back on your knees and fist bump your hands together. From there, place that underneath your shoulders. And then try to straighten your elbows as much as you can and take rocks forward and back. And if you feel like I'm torturing you, it's okay. Your wrists will still be there. Just see how much you can straighten and notice where you're looking again, down and out. We don't want to look down and back behind us because that's our past. We've lived that already. So we want to look at what's in front of us and be prepared for where we're going next. Take a few more rocks. Notice how your wrists feel. Notice if your fingers are doing something gnarly. One more breath. And then this time, place your hands strongly down into the floor. Let the sensation ground and let it all settle. It's over. And then leaving your block and blanket thing where they were. I know I didn't say to move it, so don't move it. Place your hands out now, a palm print in front of where they are. And then tuck your toes, begin to lift your knees, keeping your knees slightly bent, stick your butt up to come into your down dog. Once you get up there, then you can shake it out, walk it, shake your butt like a corgi walk, or do anything that feels good to move your arms, head, shoulders, feet, everything around. You can try to come up on the tops of your feet. That might feel really weird. And just move from side to side. Imagine what a dog would do when they walk the first time in the morning. A few more breaths with these bigger movements. Great. And after you've taken, let's say, your third breath there, begin to make the movement a little bit less visible. So your body still has a lot of stuff going on, but someone looking at you looks like you're standing still. Find your weight pressing more to the palm of your hands. Find your elbows rounding back or pulling back. Armpits are wrapping in towards your heart, knees are bent, stick the butt up super tall, and then let energy shoot down through your heels. So you have a big, strong triangle. From here, you're gonna bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. So we're in this plank. And then if you have the blocks there, you can let your hips or legs rest on them. Otherwise, keep your toes tucked. And then I wouldn't try to sink down to the blanket. Just hold it on top. So you're in a tuck-toed up dog and then come back to your down dog. Cool. So try that again. Plank pose. Let your hips come to the blocks and then bend the knees, stick the butt up. And if they're not there, then that just means you have to work harder in your legs. So imagine that someone is pulling your feet back and keep going, just taking this a few more times. Your legs are engaged the whole time as you come into the tuck-toed up dog. Great. Going at your own pace. Take one more. And then we'll all meet in our down dog. And then you can place your knees down, move whatever you were using off to the side, we'll use it later, and then come back up into your down dog. One more breath here. Notice if your feet are at hips width distance and your arms are shooting straight up from your shoulders. And then slowly begin to walk your feet towards your hands until you get to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Knees are bent, feet are at hips width distance, which we can measure out by putting our fists together again and then putting them in between our arches. So measure it out, have your good foundation, and then let your head really drop. So knees are slightly bent still, knees are tracking over toes. Take a big sigh here, just letting everything go. And then slowly, slowly begin to roll yourself up to stand. Cool. Once you get to the top, just shake it out. Cool. Let it all go. And then we'll take a few more variations with a forward fold. So grab for your blanket, and if it was just rolled up, or if you made it messy, roll it up again, and then place it like just where you were standing on the ground. If you have a towel or anything, that works here too, even a pillow you could use. And then what we're gonna do is place the balls of our feet on it. Cool, so my heels are on the mat and the toe part of my feet are on the blanket. I'm gonna find the bend in my knee again. And then just as I rolled up, I'm gonna begin with the top of my head and roll myself back down. So this is just a different variation of a forward fold, getting into a different part of the backs of the legs. Backs of our legs are always really tight, or for most people, they probably are. We use them a lot. And here with your arms, let's just all grab opposite elbows. So you're making a frame for your face. Take a few more breaths here, letting the sensation settle in your legs, keep them bent. Notice which part of your foot is pressing down on either the floor or the blanket more, and try to find the midpoint. And then let your arms go and slowly roll yourself up again. As slow as you can, there's no rush. Once you get to the top, you can give yourself a little wiggle and then step on top of the blanket so that your heels are on the blanket, toes are on the floor, still at hips width distance, that slight bend in the knees is forever there, and then roll yourself down. And we like to keep a bend in our knees and a bend in most places because it means that there's energy still flowing through there. If your legs are just locked out and super straight, you're like a twig. It's easier to just break a dead branch. Whereas if you are a growing strong branch on a tree, you probably have all these little twists and turns, and it's much harder to break. Grab our opposite elbow. Take 3 more breaths here. Letting your elbow points go a little bit closer to the ground. Take a few more breaths. Noticing how your legs feel, just letting it all happen. Keep breathing. And then this time you're just gonna let your arms go, step behind the blanket, move it away, and then walk yourself back to your downward facing dog. From here, take a little flow, inhaling forward to that up dog. This time everyone's without anything underneath it, and then bend the knees, stick the butt up. One more breath in your down dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up, toes facing down, and then bring your right foot to your right thumb, coming into a low lunge. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, and find your right knee right on top of your ankle. And then Rosie the Riveter, if you know what that means, your right arm over your right knee so that your armpit comes directly on top of your right knee, and then circle it around. So we just like moving the lymph around in our armpit. We don't give our armpits enough love. So circling this around is a good start. And just circle a little bit to the right, circle to the left. Your right hand can be doing whatever it wants. Cool. On your next exhale, you can place your right hand down, but still try to keep as much contact as you can with your armpit and your knee. And as you inhale, you're gonna bring your body back. Sorry, that was like I was singing a song. Lift your right toes up, begin to straighten your right leg, runner's stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and straighten both legs. And then exhale, low lunge. Inhale, runner's stretch, right toes flex up. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, low lunge. And once again, find your breath, find your own speed to do this. My hands are on fingertips, but if you have your blocks and want to put them under your hands to bring the floor closer to you, you can do that too. Gaze is still down and out, trying not to look back behind us, keeping our back really long. Take a few more breaths here. And then as you finish your next one, we'll end in our low lunge. Let the top of the back foot press down. And as you inhale, lift your arms forward, out, and up. Meeting in this Anjaneyasana. Fingers are reaching up towards the sky. We'll only be here for a breath. Let the hips come forward. Hips are square. Straight out, east and west. Exhale, place both hands back down. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and hop yourself up to a forward fold. One breath here, let your head just drop. Feel free to sway or shake anything, and then begin to roll yourself up again. Cool. Whenever we stand, you can always shake it out. And then find yourself, feet underneath your hips, hands on your hips. Bring your weight into your left foot, and then kick your right foot to your right butt. We're coming into a good old quad stretch. Grab for the outer right foot with your right hand, knees are together, and then lift your left arm up. Cool. Shoulders are down and back, hips are pressing forward. Left knee is slightly bent so you have more stability. A strong leg. And then on your next exhale, let your hips or hands come back to your hips. And just gently let your right foot come to the ground. Shake it out, coming to the other side, bringing the weight into the right foot, kicking your left foot to your left butt, grabbing for it with the left hand, and then reach your right arm up, pressing both hips forward, knees are together. Foot is kicking into hand, hand is pulling or pushing on your foot, and hips are still square at east and west. One more breath. And then exhale, slowly let that all go. Shake it out. Inhale, lift both arms up, press palms together overhead, and exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, lengthen out your spine. Exhale, forward fold again. This inhale, step or hop yourself back to your downward facing dog. Take an exhale there. And then inhale again, come to your up dog if you want to, otherwise stay in your down dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up, toes still face down. Exhale, left foot, left thumb. And then use your hand if you need to move your left foot so that when you bend your left knee, it comes right on top of your left ankle. Place the back knee down, untuck the back toes, and then Rosie the Riveter, your left arm on top of your left knee. Armpit is right on top of knee like a ball and mitt fit. And then take circles to the left and circles to the right. Just massaging out that part of your arm. Might be a little bit tight since no one really is massaging their armpits probably on a daily basis. I know I don't, unless I do this. Take one more breath or one more circle in either direction. Place the left hand down, keep the connection, and then inhale, flex the left toes up, runner stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, straighten as much as you can, doesn't matter how straight it is. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, runner stretch. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, low lunge. And here, it really, in all of yoga, it really doesn't matter how flexible you are or how much your legs can straighten or how wide they can go or whatever. It really just matters that your lower body is stable and everything is aligned well, because then after that, the nice side effect is flexibility. But you want to be mobile and have space in your joints so that you can get there. Take one more round, then we'll meet in our low lunge. Hands come forward, out and up. Anjaneyasana with the arms up. One more breath here, reaching the fingers up to the sky, lifting your torso off your hips. Pressing down with all 5 toenails of the back foot. Exhale, bring the fingertips back down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then hop yourself back to a forward fold at the front of your mat. Great. From here, we'll just take a little quick thing. Inhale, hands on shins. Exhale, extend your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Take another breath, just letting everything sway from right to left. Knees are still bent. And then place your hands down and step or hop yourself back to your down dog. Always optional, but you can come to an up dog and then a down dog. We'll meet in our down dog. Great. Cool. From here, place the knees down as wide as the mat. Big toes touch and come back to a child's pose. Take 3 big, deep breaths here. Pressing the hips back as you walk the fingertips forward. And after your 3rd breath, using your upper body or anything, only bring your knees to come to touch. So stay down here. And we're going to come into one of my favorite little flows. And we'll just do it slowly the first time. And then as you get it, you can have freedom to do it on your own. So bring your arms back and have them cup your heels. And if your forehead isn't on the ground, then it's totally fine. You're just in this little like seed pose, like I'm about to grow because it's spring. So from here, as you inhale, you're going to place your fingertips by your sides, then walk them back and arch your spine. And then exhale, bring your arms forward back into that child's pose. Inhale, we're going to keep moving forward. Tuck the toes, upward facing dog. We've done this. Exhale, bend the knees, downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, bend the knees, come back to your child's pose. Inhale, come into your little seed pose, grab your heels and take another exhale. Just like that again. Inhale, fingertips come down, walk them back a little bit, arch your spine, let your shoulders widen. Exhale, bring yourself back to a child's pose. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bent knees. Inhale, tuck toe to up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come back to your seed pose, and exhale, just be there. And if you want to take the next round or two on your own breath, feel free to just do it as fast or as slow as you want to go. So inhale, arch your back, lean back, exhale, child's pose. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, seed. And exhale, just be. And I won't speak, so you can do the next round on your own, but just listen to your breath and see how fast or slow you want to go. Really thinking about flowing through your body and letting your breath, each inhale and exhale, be the reason that you move. And then once you finish that last round, we'll just hang out in our seed pose for a little bit, just getting as small as possible before we grow up again and do more stuff. When you're ready, bring your arms back out and come back into your downward facing dog. Great. On your next inhale, this time lift your left leg up and then bend the knee, open the hip, and then shake it out again. Take some circles, circle the ankle, circle the knee. On your next exhale, bring your left foot to your left pinky or your left smallest finger. My toes are facing kind of out, so they're on a 45-degree angle. Toes are on the ground, heel is on the mat. Your back knee will come down to the ground and you'll find your hands underneath your shoulders. From here, we'll take the same flow we did before. Inhaling, tucking the left toes up. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, try to straighten both legs, see what that feels like. And exhale, low lunge. Inhale, tuck the left toes. Low lunge. And just keep going. It really doesn't matter how straight the legs get. Mine are not straightening all the way. Gaze is down and out, shoulders are down, face is relaxed. Notice what's happening to the parts of the body that you aren't using when you aren't using them. Take one more round. And then we'll all meet in this low lunge. You can stay on your hands or on your fingertips. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then hop your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So now we look like we're about to pounce like a cat. And then you're gonna straighten your legs a little bit, let your head drop, and then bend back down. And take that a few times. Just bending and stretching, or bending and straightening the legs a little, getting some more synovial fluid into those joints. Greasing things up. Great. One more breath. And then come, let's meet with both knees bent. And then this time, step your left foot back. So we're coming into your right lizardy pose. Cool. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, same flow. Inhale, lift the right toes up. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, low lunge. And one thing too to think about here is what your hips are looking like. Try to keep them in the same line. You want to imagine that if someone stuck a tree branch through your hips, it would go through straight and you wouldn't be able to see the other side. So there'd be no angle or anything. Keep going. Take one more breath. Following your breath, noticing how it's changing as we move. And then once again, we'll meet in our low lunge. Hands or fingertips can come down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then hop it a little bit and step it on the outside of the left pinky finger. This time, bend your knees a little bit more and see if you can lift your hands up off the ground, place them into prayer, and then press your elbows on your knees. Ooh, we're in Malasana, which is a very deep hip opening pose. So if this feels like a lot, it's okay. Take one more breath. Back is super long. And then place your fingertips back down, straighten your legs, and then heel toe your feet so that you come back to a normal hip width, forward fold. Rock your spine right and left. Once again, slowly begin to roll yourself up. Head is last to lift. There's no rush. Whenever you get to the top, you get to the top. Shake it all out, and then grab for one of your blocks again. If you don't have this, I'll give you a blanket option too. So your block, you can place it on the ground vertically on its lowest height thing, or if you have something cylindrical, just place it on its side. You'll see when we do it. Place the front of your foot on it, place your heel down on the ground, kick up the block with your right foot. My left foot steps a little bit back, so now I'm like a running person. And then you're just gonna bend into your right knee, bend into your left knee a little bit, and then forward fold yourself. And then once you're there, you can just play around with like what angle feels best, move things around. Hands can come to the block or they can stay on your hips. I recommend keeping both legs slightly bent the whole time. Just so then you know you're not knocking any or locking anything out. Energy is flowing in every single part of your body. Let your head just drop, let everything relax. Feel free to rock a little bit forward and back. Take a few more breaths here. Opening up the calf. We opened up the hamstrings, two parts of our hamstrings, like the back part and then the outer part, just by doing lizard and the other lunge that we did. So now we're opening up the calves so that the whole back part of our leg can be open. One more breath. And then just as we came in, hands on hips, bring yourself back up. Let the block go. Feel free to shake out your leg. And then bring the block over to the other side and just come into it the same way that we just did. Left foot comes up on the block, heel comes down. Find your hips square. I don't think I said that on the last side, but bend into slightly both knees and then forward fold yourself. Or fold yourself, which is a nicer version of F yourself. Don't use that. It's not very clever at all. Okay, let your head just drop. Feel free to rock forward and back. You can try rocking side to side too and see if that does anything for you, gives you a different experience. Yoga is all about being an informance and not a performance. So it really doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you think you're learning something about your body, you're noticing a different feeling. So just do whatever feels good to you. And if this doesn't feel good, still do it. It's safe. One more breath. And then just as you came into it, hands on hips, bring yourself up, let it go, and then shake out your leg. Okay, one more thing with the block or blanket. I realize I didn't say a blanket option, but you could have just folded up your blanket like a block, so sorry about that. If you have a block or if you have a book, you can do the next thing with anything that kind of looks like a rectangle. So we're going to do something called King of the Mountain or Queen of the Mountain, whatever you want to call it. If you can do this, I recommend find the block like up at your chest and then interlace your fingers in front of it. I'll just come to the camera because I can. I look like a hot mess, but that's fine. And then you're going to smartly flip it up. Ooh, that's the first time I've done that. Wow, that's great. Okay. You're going to flip it up so that now your hands are interlaced underneath the block or book. You can literally grab any book off your bookshelf and then press them up to the sky. I just kneel down, but you can also kneel down and do this if you want to. But standing up, or kneeling, as long as your upper body is straight, it doesn't really matter. You want to find your arms super straight and tall. And if you have very strong muscular shoulders, this might be a little bit hard, but just find yourself standing here. If you're kneeling, you can also kneel, but just notice what it's like to have your arms as straight as they can be. You're standing on 2 feet. Yeah. So you are the best version of yourself. So just do whatever makes you feel like that. Pressing your arms super long. We won't stay here for much longer. My teacher makes me do this for 9 minutes. So just be grateful that I'm not making you do that today. Take 3 more breaths and just notice how you're standing on your feet. Are you leaning back to your heels? Are you rocking too far forward on the fronts of your feet? Keep breathing. And after you've taken your 3rd breath, then you can say good riddance to whatever you're holding. If it won't break, you can drop it on the ground, or you can gracefully let it go. Once you let it go, just roll your shoulders forward and back. And know that you can stand like this now and for a longer period of time. Okay, so that gave me a little bit of a tingly sensation in my arm. So find yourself standing at the front of your mat again, feet underneath your hips, knees are slightly bent, you're standing in Tadasana. Let any sensation that just happened, just let it settle in your body or flow away. And then on your next inhale, lift your arms up again overhead, and then exhale, forward fold. Cool. From here, inhale, hands on shins, extend your spine, exhale, forward fold. Place your hands down to the ground and then hop or step yourself back to a downward facing dog. Great. On your next inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank. And then as you wrap your elbows in towards your chest, just lower yourself down onto the ground. So we're on our bellies again. You can let your forehead come to the mat and then rock your hips from side to side, leave your hands where they are. And then in the same line of where your hands are, just bring them out so that they're on the ground and your elbows are facing up towards the sky. So you're making like 2 right angles with your arms. As you inhale, lift your chest, neck, and head. And then exhale, undulate your spine back down to the ground. Beginning to get into our shoulders a little bit more. This is our first kind of true back bendy thing that we're doing. Take 2 or 3 more. Inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you drop. Imagine someone is pressing down and back at the base of your spine. And once again, it does not matter at all how straight your arms get. After your next one, let your head come back and bring your arms straight out in front of their shoulders. So now you're lying down on the ground as if you're swimming in a pool. And as your next inhale, just lift everything up. So arms come a few inches off the ground, legs come a few inches off the ground. And now you're really super long, like slightly crescent moon shape. Gaze is down and out. Take 1 more breath here, engaging the back muscles. And then exhale, let that go. Come back to a palm pillow underneath your forehead. Rock your hips from side to side. And then place your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, and we'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. Cool. From here, inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, bring your right foot to your right thumb. This time, leave the back knee up off the ground. Imagine that the back of the left foot is pressing into a wall. Find that connection of armpit to knee if you can. And then place the left hand strongly down and reach your right arm up. You can circle your wrist. You can circle your whole arm if that feels good in this lunge twist. Opening up the shoulder a little bit more. 1 more breath. And then exhale, swim the right hand over. Still keeping your legs in the strong lunge. Reach your arms forward, out, and up. Oops. One more breath here, reaching the fingertips super tall to the sky. Get a little bit bouncy off the left knee. And then just in one thing, try not to do anything else. Bring your left knee up. If you wobble or fall, just get back into it. All good. Knees in front of your chest. Hands are on your hips. Cool. From here, without using your hands, bring your foot to a tree pose. So either on the inside of your left thigh, calf, or on the ground. And then you can use your hand to help you after you notice where it goes without your hands. From there, hands can stay on your hips. They can come to prayer. They can lift up to the sky or come out to a V for victory. But wherever you are, find yourself strongly rooting down with the right foot. Hips are still square in east and west. Crown of the head is shooting up tall towards the sky, so your chin isn't sticking out. It's level to the ground. One more breath. And then just as you came in-ish, bring the left knee up, but this time just place it down to the ground. Take it out again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands on chins, extend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, hold your down dog. Great. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up. And then bring your left foot to your left thumb. Cool. Once again, find your right foot. Imagine that it's pressing up against a wall, so it's a perfect straight line. Place your right hand down, and then lift your left arm up. And it's nice to pretend that your left hip is slightly pulling back. You won't really see anything moving in anyone's body, but having the idea of pulling your left hip back as your right hip comes a little bit forward, keeps your hips square, and then lift your left arm up, circling the wrist, circle the arm, do whatever you did. Let the left arm just hang back a little. And then exhale, bring it back down. Same thing. Inhale, reach the arms forward, out and up. You're in your high lunge. One more breath, fingertips shooting up towards the sky. Bouncy off the back leg. Hands on your hips. Oops. If you fall, just bring your knee in front of you again. All good. Doesn't matter. It's just yoga. And then find your foot on the inner thigh, calf, foot on the ground, whatever feels good. Mine typically lands on my knee, and then I use my hand to lift it back up. Cool. And I'm super wobbly today, and that's fine. I'm just going to notice it and move on and not dwell on the fact that I'm wobbly. Have a slight bend in your left knee, palms pressed together at the center of your chest, or lift up and then out, whatever arm variation you want. Shoulders are down though as you lift up. Crown of the head has a long line shooting up to the sky as you root down with all parts of your left foot. One more breath. Hands come back to your hips. Knee comes right in front of you. Place it back down, shake it out, and then inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, extend. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, step yourself back, downward facing dog. Take one more flow to an up dog and down dog if you want to. No pressure. Great. This is your last down dog. So if you want to do something, or if you're like, thank God, then you can already come to your plank pose and lower yourself onto your belly one more time. Or stay in your down dog for a little bit longer. Whatever floats your boat. Great. Once you get down to the ground, you're going to find your hands underneath your forehead again. Rock yourself from right to left. This helps release the lower back and is super nice. One more back bendy pose, and then we're gonna get to chill. So from here, kick both feet towards your butt. Great. Then you're going to reach around back behind you with both arms and try to grab for your right ankle with your right hand, left ankle with your left hand, and let everything just settle on the ground like that. So you still have some energy shooting through you because it's probably hard to hold your feet. And then as you inhale, you're just going to lift everything up and out. So feet kicking into your hands, chest is coming a little bit forward, gaze is still down and out. You're coming into your bow pose. Doesn't matter how high anything comes up off the ground. And then exhale, let that go, come back. Down to the ground, you can let everything soften a little bit. We'll take that 2 more times, because the first time we're learning, second time we know what we're doing, and the third time we try to do our best. And the fourth time, my teacher always says we start getting sloppy. So just do things 3 times. On your next inhale, lift your chest, neck, head, shoulders come back. Feet pressing into hands, hands pulling your feet in. 1 more breath. And then exhale, let that go. Let it soften. See if you can keep your knees as close together as possible for this. Try not to let them widen. And last time, inhale, lift your chest, neck, and head. Great. You can think of pointing your toes so you have energy out through all parts of your legs and feet. Shoulders are back and down. 1 more breath, last breath. And then exhale, let that go. And let everything just flop to the ground. Palm pillow again, and let your hips rock from right to left. And just let everything sigh. Let everything breathe. Cool. Now we're going to roll over slowly onto our backs. So once you get to your back, find your feet as wide as the mat and knees are knocking in towards one another. We call this constructive rest, but it is mainly important because this helps neutralize our spine. So we just did a back bend and we don't want to go too quickly into a forward bend or anything else. So it's nice to take a breather with our back in a neutral space. Take another breath. Let everything start to settle and melt into the mat. And then you have options for what we'll do next. If you have a block, I'll show you that option first. Find your block, find your feet at hips width distance, right in front of your knees. Lift your hips up a little bit and then slide that block underneath the bottom part of your low back. Cool. And then you can just chill here. This is one of my favorite things to do. If you have 2 blocks and you're like, I want to go higher, you can put the second block underneath as well. If you don't have a block, another really nice option is with the blanket. You can roll it up again, or if it's already rolled up, and then slide it up like the upper third of your mat, and then lie back down on it so that it comes to like where your shoulder blades are. And then I like to find my arms up above and like that cactus shape again. And then you have a nice lift in your chest and lungs and your heart lifting up and out towards the sky. So either option is really nice for giving you a gentle back bend that doesn't require that much effort. And whichever pose you're in, if you're in the blanket, you can extend out your legs. And if you are using the block, then I recommend extending the legs towards the sky so that you get a nice little drainage moment of your blood flowing from the feet back to your heart. And really let everything relax wherever you are. You can always rock from right to left, forward and back, circle an ankle, circle a toe, if that's possible. Beginning to feel the grace of all the effort that you did in the past hour. And letting everything really settle and chill. Coming back to your breath and listening to it, making it audible. We'll take 1 or 2 more breaths before we begin to move out of wherever you are. So make them as slow or as fast as you want them to be. And then on your next inhale, if your hips are on the block, begin to place your feet down and slightly lift your butt up just to get the block out and stick your butt out as you set your hips back down and come back into your constructive rest, feet as wide as the mat. Arms can be down around your belly. If you're on the blanket, I just recommend rolling to fetal position on either side, moving the blanket, and then you can also roll yourself back and come into your constructive rest. Or you can really just move the blanket off, whatever you feel. Everything is a recommendation. As long as you're moving your body safely, then it really doesn't matter what you do. Take 1 more breath in your constructive rest. And then, since we have a bunch of props, I'll give you a few options for Savasana. So if you have 2 blocks, you can once again make a little bit of a wall underneath like your calf space, and then have 1 calf rest on 1 block, 1 on the other, and then roll yourself back down. That's always nice to have a slight lift there. If you don't have blocks, you can do the same thing and place a blanket underneath your calves, or I like placing a blanket underneath my knees. You can try a combo of the 2. You can place the blanket on top of your blocks, or if you are propless and you have nothing, and that's always totally fine, you can do one of my favorite things, which you'll find that same interlacing that you did, but behind your spine. So arms are out, and you interlace your hands, and then you can roll yourself back down on this. And this is a really nice shoulder opener, another back bendy like thing. You can also do this if you're super creative and clever with the props under your legs, but that's a lot of effort. So come into it however you want to rest. If you have an extra blanket nearby, you can always put it on top of you. And then really begin to listen to your breath again. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. And see if you can begin to slow down the breath as you continuously try to get rid of tension that's all around your body. I like to think of it as on my exhale, I just force the exhale and the tension goes away with it. So you can always try that, just like audibly exhaling out a sigh, like, and then shoot out all the tension from your body. Like you're spraying it out like a Nerf gun. You're shooting out the tension instead of water. We did a pretty well-rounded practice today. There were no like huge peak poses, but we opened up all parts of our legs with all the forward folding and the hamstring opening we did. We opened up our shoulders with some of the back bending stuff that we did. And we stood up super tall in that king, queen of the mountain pose. So we really made it through everything. We mediated all points of ourselves, our backs to our middle, to our front, right, center, left, all of it. Lower body, middle body, upper body. In Katona yoga, we like to think of the body as the house. So in the beginning, we cleaned up the house, the basement of the house, which is our lower body and our legs, and opened up that a little bit more. Then we got more into the upper body, started opening up the shoulders, did a little bit more of moving through the spine. And as we lie here, we get to use our imagination to just follow our breath and notice where that's going to take us. And the third floor of our house is like our brain. So our head, our imagination, which we use a lot during class to try to find different things as we move things around and as we lie here, finding less and less tension, imagining that we're melting into the ground. We're just lying here like a melted popsicle on a sidewalk in the summer. We'll lie here for a few more minutes in silence. So just really let your body rest and let yourself be in this do nothing space. If you're in the shoulder opener position, lift your hips up just enough to let your hands come out, and do it super gently because you lied there for a little bit. And then for everyone, begin to bring some wiggles back into your fingers and your toes. Keeping your eyes closed, begin to roll yourself onto either side, coming into a fetal position. Take a breath there, a big deep breath. And then keeping your eyes closed again, using whichever hand is on top to press yourself up to sit. You can sit cross-legged or in Virasana, and you can find your hands face down on your thighs. You can let your shoulders roll back, let everything settle in this position. And then find your breath all together on empty. And on your next inhale, deepest inhale of the day through the nose. Hold it at the top. And then biggest exhale, huge sigh out the mouth. Bring your palms together at the center of your chest. Gratitude to everyone around us for practicing together. Remembering the past, to repeat the good things and not repeat the bad things. And set yourself up for success to move forward into the future as your best self. Gratitude to yourselves for moving your bodies around, and gratitude to your minds for being able to hold the space for your body. Bring your thumb knuckles to your third eye in between your eyebrows. We'll end practice with a final bow. Namaste. Sorry, we went like 2 minutes over, but I know we started a few minutes late. But I hope everyone feels rested and chilled